So, got a lot done. Got some parts pulled out and ready to look at and get put on. Checking all the gaskets to make sure we got everything. Got the intake taken apart. Got the fuel rail taken off, put over there. I'm going to redo all those hoses. Everything's getting cleaned up. Ready to get that back together. We're going to clean up this guy. Got the motor mounts out. A couple other gaskets looking. Look up paint done. Round one of paint done. And then we'll get these guys painted tomorrow. But here's the carnage. And we might be doing something with this. Not sure yet. What is where she sits? You got new headlights?
Yeah.
Ish. She got brights. New high beams. And then she showed up with a piece of shit.
Don't be a bully.
We'll figure it out.
Hey, it's not as big as a piece of shit as my last one.
This one's clean. And doesn't have hail damage.
Yes! Better piece of shit. That was hail damage.
There's a lot going on. But getting stuff done. But hanging out and enjoying it. So that's what it's all about. We got some new shiny bits. We're going to get stuff painted, get it all put back together. And I think it's going to turn out pretty cool. Doing it right this time. And Jake's update, getting there. I don't know anything about the Jeep, so I don't know. He's got his transfer case peeled off and cleaned up, looking good. New parts over there. Tranny's all cleaned up. Only took one brush and two brake clean cans. Custom exhaust. Thanks 2004 Chevy rear chunk. Yeah, I chopped my exhaust off, so Jake took the other part of it. But we got everything pulled out, ready to go. So here we go. All right, so I sent the riot home. Everybody's gone, just me and you. Show you where we ended up for the night. So we got everything torqued down, lifters and all the connecting rods, not the connecting rods, the entire valve trains all bolted up and torqued down. Got the water pump on, ready to go. We're going to be moving on probably to the rear main and then the intake and the fuel lines there. Like I said, I'll be redoing all these guys. Going through and getting new hoses on all this, cleaning it all up, getting this guy to a parts washer, and then doing some hand cleaning on it. But got everything laid out so we have an idea of where we're at with things, so we can visually see our progress. Got these guys over here still. Those are going to need cleaned again. And got to pick out the rest of the gasket out of the backside because a lot of it, after 40 years, turns to hard plastic rather than rubber. So got to get the rest of that scraped out and then those painted. And then those guys can get put on. Brand new seals for those, which are actual rubber. Really nice. But we both got our projects in here working on them. I'm getting them close to done. Jake's going to be putting his stuff on when he gets the rest of his parts. We got the alternator over here, the rest of the bolts to go onto the transmission, but for the most part, we're pretty close to getting put back together. Everything's getting painted. I gotta put one last coat on this guy before I go, but it is about 10:30 at night right now, and I am quite ready to go to bed. So I'm gonna get a quick coat of paint on this and then wrap up the motor, shut the lights off, and head out for the night. So we got the shop shut down. We're gonna be headed out, but I did want to show you something. I know there's like no light in here right now, so I'm gonna flick this on, but got the truck all finished up and it looks pretty killer. So let's go take a look. So we got it all cleaned out, looking good, smelling good. But check out. So we got the new exhaust tip down here. It's actually dumping out the exhaust rather than just shooting it into underneath, so it doesn't drone as much in the cab here, so you don't hear it as bad. But he's looking pretty spiffy now. All cleaned up and all shiny. Back end still looking pretty good. Can't even see the sticker in the door. But we're gonna go ahead and head out. It's pretty late. Moon's out. Really beautiful night. Couldn't have asked for better here in Montana. So we see you next time we're at the shop, which would be right now. Huh. Well, it's the next day. Sun shining, nice beautiful day outside. We got the truck pulled in today. Had a little bit of issues with one of the headlights, and then we also got it all polished up. So it's looking super shiny. So we're gonna go ahead. We've got some painting going right now. I've got the engine out again. I'm gonna be putting on some of the cooling system stuff that I got painted yesterday. Got the timing cover all painted up and the water pump pulley. Got all of this disassembled. Everything's still all bagged up from last night. Got these guys all set out over here, looking good. So we'll go ahead and get some of this put back on the motor, and then we'll get this painted as well. So here we go. Well, we get a little bit done, a little bit more painting, got some parts on, but did find out that I'm missing a couple gaskets, so we're gonna have to go get some gasket maker from the parts store. But got this guy mounted on. I don't have the gasket for here. I had the one for in between this pipe, and then I don't have the one for the rear here. And then obviously this goes on that coolant housing, and then this one goes on that back side, so there's no gasket in between there. And then I'm missing the gasket for up here and down here. Did get some paint on these guys and also all over the camera. Yeah, so I got paint everywhere. I'm gonna go ahead and get you cleaned up and then head to the store. So got a lot more done. Got quite a bit of it bolted on. Take a look back here. Got the intake put on. We got these coolant rams on there. Everything bolted up. We did find a little bit of something scary. That part's actually completely off. Broken, but I don't think it's gonna be of much matter. Got these solid motor mounts put on, but everything's torqued down. Probably gonna seal this up for the night, cover it and call it a night. But here we sit with some of these parts. Ran out of paint on this guy, and then it did end up falling, so it's got some nasties in it, so I might have to clean that up tomorrow, but the rest of this stuff turned out pretty good. Got the upper intake that I need to take apart and clean, and then I got a new gasket for the throttle body. Still the fuel line sitting here. Got some O-rings, some random bolts here, there, but trying to find everything trying to find where everything goes at this point. Kind of a pain, because I didn't do myself a favor in organizing them all that well. So we got kind of a mixed bag here, but got everything else up here ready to go and get put on once I get some more of these gaskets made. I gotta get one more made for the front here, and then that should be all the gaskets I have to make myself, and then it should be just throwing it all back together. But it's been a long day. My back hurts. I'm tired. I'm ready to go home. We had a little bit of a rainstorm, but it cleared up and passed. Looks really pretty outside right now. Truck's looking good, but like I said, I'm gonna wrap it up, clean everything, and then head home. Good morning. Welcome back. We're back at the shop. It is 9:30 Sunday morning. I'm gonna get some of this stuff thrown together, and then we got some Father's Day stuff over at Grace's family's house. So we don't have a ton of time to get stuff done, but I think Johnny's gonna come over here in a little bit and give me a hand. But we just got a little bit more to put on. I had to run yesterday and find some gaskets because on here and up there there's some O-rings that need replaced, but the kit did not have them. Today I'm gonna hopefully get my fuel rail rebuilt, get all those hoses switched out for some new stuff that I got yesterday and some new clamps, and then hopefully get this guy put on top of the intake. Up here. And then we can get all that buttoned up, and then have all the coolant housings all blocked off, and then we can get our distributor cleaned and put on here, and then we can get going on valve covers and getting the timing belt cover and timing belt on, and then we can get to eventually filling this thing up with oil. I'm gonna go ahead and get the coolant situation figured out, and then hopefully I can move on to that fuel rail. So here we go. Welcome back. It's been a couple days since that last chunk of the video. We got some stuff done in between then and now. Today we're back at the shop. It is Friday night. We are gonna go ahead and get some more of these parts on, but I will go ahead and run through and give you the update of what you missed. Alrighty, so since we last spoke, I was looking at getting some of the coolant O-rings figured out. I got that all done up, got this guy mounted. I haven't unmasked a lot of it just because there's no point to. It's just going to get dirty. We did get the fuel line taken off, cut a bunch of hoses, and redid these injector lines. I am horrible at counting. I need to go back to elementary school, but I ran out of clamps on these two, as well as a chunk of hose here, which I thought I would have some extra after doing all of these guys, but I ended up using it all beforehand. So we need a chunk here, and to mount this last bit of fuel line that goes to the fuel filter, that's the intake, and then it comes through. But we're gonna head and get these guys on. Got some clips now. And then I also have the valve covers sitting in some, like, it breaks down sticky stuff. I don't know how to explain it. The stuff that we soak them in just makes the rubber kind of break down a little bit. So we got the valve covers, been soaking in that for a couple of days. Got to get this last little bit out of these edges that didn't want to play nice when I was taking it out. So we'll go ahead and get these guys taken care of, cleaned up, get all this rubber out of here so we can get the new gaskets on there nicely. We got a couple of tabs to bend, and then get these guys prepped and ready for some paint. So go grab that other guy, wrap up these fuel hoses, and get these guys cleaned up. Here we go. So got to working on it a little bit more. Did some research, trying to find out some places for this hose right here. It's really hard to find, and there's not much on it, and I don't remember taking it off. Oops. But we got all the injectors done up nicely. Got this line put in, ready to go there. We were trying to figure out where that guy went to. It does end up going onto the bottom of the upper intake and then out this guy here, so that's perfect. Tomorrow we're gonna head and get this guy through the parts cleaner. I ended up taking off the throttle body so we can put it in there without damaging that. Got these guys all scraped out finally, just need to do a little bit of cleaning, but these will go in the parts cleaner as well tomorrow, and then we'll be getting some paint on them. Finished up painting everything else. Might redo this intake just because I ran out of paint on it. Whoops, miscalculation, that's it. But getting everything cleaned up, and the starter I will end up cleaning probably tomorrow by hand, just because I don't want to throw that in the parts washer. That's kind of where we sit right now. I'm going to do a little bit of disassembly on that upper intake just to get it ready for going through the parts cleaner. So most of these hoses on this bottom side I'm not going to be using, so I'm not sure if they'll be going back on or not, but we shall see. But we'll go ahead and get this guy torn apart and ready for tomorrow, going through the cleaner, and then we'll get the engine all covered up again. And yeah, so tomorrow it looks like valve covers can go on, and at that point pretty much could drop the motor in. But I'm gonna do a little bit of cleanup on the headers, and then I ended up getting some of this flat black, just flame proof header paint that'll end up going on the valve covers, as well as all of the exhaust. So we'll get those guys cleaned up, ready to get put on. So here we go. So we got this guy off of the bottom there, cleaned it up a little bit nice. I'm not sure if that will be going back on there, like I said, but we'll see. It might be needed. I cannot remember at this point. I haven't slept, so I'm a bit tired. But I think we'll go ahead and get the cam gears on at least, and maybe start digging into getting the timing cover and the timing components on, just so the motor is ready to go. Yeah, sorry, a little bit tired, a little bit slow, but like I said in the beginning, just a little bit at a time is all I'm gonna push. I'm not gonna kill myself over it. So here we go. So I got these guys back on, just hand tightened, just making sure everything lines up and looks good. I'm gonna go ahead and take them off now. They're just hand tight. I had to break them with the vice grips because I had them tightened down before when I was taking the motor apart. I tightened them down just so everything stayed still in there and I didn't have to worry about it. So we'll get these guys off, get the timing cover, take a look and see how that fits up, and go from there. Welcome back. So we stayed at the shop pretty late last night. It's about 11:30 by the time we got headed home. Got a lot done. got the timing belt all put on, got it all timed, ready to go. This morning I got here a little early and got some parts sent over to the cleaner. Those are getting clean right now, so I'll go get those here in a little bit. The valve covers, as well as the main upper intake. And then I can get the throttle body put on that guy with the gasket, get that all bolted up all together. We won't be putting that on yet. We'll put the engine in the car and drop the intake onto it once it's in there. Makes it a little easier to maneuver stuff around. But let's go take a look at what we've got done. Jake's here working on the Jeep, finishing that up. We just gutted Jake's Jeep Cat. Took it through the press, got all that out of there, so now it'll sound pretty sweet. But let's go check it out.
Fucking sweaty.
So we got the lower timing cover on. We got one spot over here we gotta wait on both of these guys, but I will get this upper put on, and then hopefully by that time parts will be clean. And I have a hose that Johnny's looking for right now, and he just texted me. So stuff should be finished up here in just a second. I'll go over there and get that stuff so we can finish putting on this timing cover, and then we'll go grab stuff and put the hoses on, and then get to painting on the valve just like that. Everything's together. We'll go ahead and see where Johnny's at with things and get the rest of this finished up. So I will be waiting for Jake just for a second. He ran to grab some lunch. I'm gonna finish up some more stuff while I'm sitting here waiting for him to get back, and then I'll head over to the other shop and see what Johnny's got for coolant hoses. Jake got sushi.
Why are you?
Sushi time. Got everything cleaned up, looking good. Now I'm gonna scuff it and paint them. I already got one done, so gonna finish this guy up. And just like that, this guy's ready to get taped off. Just gonna take this hole off here and then get the painting on him. Okay, so we got the parts scuffed up, got them painted, and got them in the booth. So I haven't seen these after they sat here and baked for a little while. I let the booth cool off a little bit. So let's go take a look. Those are gonna look so good. Cool, perfect. Well, we'll let this cool off a little bit more in here, let that paint settle, and come back to them here in a little bit. Jake's about to start the Jeep. Jake's about to start the Jeep. Jake's about
Oh god, I gotta move my seat forward. I'm so excited. 3, 2, 1.
Gee, choppy. Oh boy, I like it. All right, it looks like 9:50 p.m. Just wrapping up here for the night. We got Jake's Jeep all finished up. He's happy. Went for a ride, pretty killer. Took the top off and rode through town. That was very, very well deserved after how much work he put into it. So very proud of that. Looks good, sounds good. All the problems are fixed. Very excited. But we're wrapping up here for the night. I got all of it put back together on the top side. All the valve covers are bolted down and look really nice. Cleaned up good. Now we gotta just get these two guys out of here, and then we'll get the headers put on this guy. And then on this side, we had the same thing happen here. We had one snap off here and one snap off here. This one ended up cracking and causing all kinds of problems, so we had to plug that. So what we're gonna do, I'm gonna take that exhaust flange that bolted up this way. I'm gonna cut it. They're right back here, but I'll just cut it, rotate it 180, and these holes are brand new and ready to go. So we'll use that guy, and that'll work out good there. But Boss Man should be having some extractors he might bring tomorrow, and we'll get that guy torn out, and hopefully, fingers crossed, maybe get this motor put in within the next couple late nights here. But I'm gonna go home. I'm gonna go hang out with the dog. And I'm gonna go and get in bed. Probably gonna shower first, because oh boy, am I covered in all kinds of crap, from oil to dirt to rubber. I was sanding down some of these hoses to make them really nice and clean. And then once we get this guy figured out, we're gonna go ahead and move on to getting the radiator figured out. Before we drop this in, I got a couple little pinion seals right here. These guys for the speedometer, and then the worm gear that's on the transmission. They've been leaking and pushing transmission fluid up into my dash and onto my feet. So we'll get that plugged up before we block off that space. Just while it's clear under there, I might as well get in there, get those changed out, get it nice and clean, just do it right. And then we'll probably take out all the old radiator, that front end, get that all adjusted and figured out. The shop light that never works decided to work now. But it's been a long day. It's been a long week. Gonna head home and we'll worry about this stuff another time. But that's the progress for now. We'll wrap her up and head out for the night. I am ecstatic. It's close. I only have a handful of tools and parts that need to get put back onto this guy, and we'll be up and going sooner than you know it. But I'm gonna head home now. Good night.